Good morning and welcome to the Rangers Reviews morning briefing for Friday the 6th of August. I'm Joshua Barry, joined by Derek Clark. The day before Rangers trip to Tannadice. Derek, how are you? And how much are you looking forward to another Scottish Premiership tie?
Yeah, it's coming around quite quickly, the games at the moment. It'll be good to see the team back in action again, hoping to put Tuesday night's defeat behind them and get back on the winning horse before the return of Malmo on Tuesday night. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking this morning, Stephen Gerrard says they'll be without Yanis Hadji for the trip tomorrow. Roof is available, Kamara is available, Morelos is available, but we'll need a couple of sessions. So that's good news heading into tomorrow, Derek. I mean, I especially think this is a type of game that will suit Roof in the front three alongside another forward because it was a tricky tie away against Dundee United last season, and by all accounts, playing a three at the back again this season, and it'll maybe be a game where we need his movement.
Yeah, you'd imagine they'd come back into the starting 11 on at Tannadice. Interesting about Morelos, I think we'd probably be seeing him maybe come off the bench perhaps at the weekend, I'd imagine. Hopefully he's in the squad, because I think everyone's in agreement it'll be extremely beneficial for Rangers to have him available against Malmo on Tuesday night. So hopefully he comes into the side. There's Johnny. There's the night shift arrived. How are we doing, Johnny?
Oh, apologies for being a little late. Yes, I wasn't sure if you'd go ahead, so I just thought I'd gate crash. Hello!
Yay. Hey. We're just speaking about Morelos, what Stephen Gerrard has just said in his press conference this morning. He's a couple of sessions away from returning. I'd imagine he'll probably start on the bench on Saturday against Dundee United, you would think. What about you, Joshua? Do you think that's the most likely scenario? And I mean, no Yanis Hadji, which is a big blow. I guess it's just a race against time to get him fit and ready for Malmo.
Yeah, I'd imagine they've got a view of Tuesday, and they'd hope they'd have enough to beat Dundee United. The big one, I think, is Kamara coming back in. But I think I was more concerned if Roof wouldn't be back for the tie. I didn't really expect Morelos. Gerrard seems like a type of manager that would just chuck Morelos in after he's not played at all this season yet for Rangers. So whether it be Itten and Roof or Sakala and Roof, I think that movement off the right will be really important. And but good to have Morelos back, and maybe it's just a question of getting him 30 minutes so that he's fit and firing for Tuesday night, because I'm sure he'll absolutely relish the occasion of the Champions League qualifier. I mean, what about you, Johnny? Roof back, no Hadji, Kamara back. It's a strong squad to take up to Tannadice, and I feel confident. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, Dundee United have not had a good start, have they? I mean, no. They were really poor against Aberdeen last week. Although Aberdeen, to be fair, have had a pretty good start to the season, and look like they could be, pushing for at least third place in the league. But Tannadice is always traditionally a difficult place to go. I know that the Rangers fans will be desperate to see the club go up there and make a statement because of historical issues with Dundee United, let's just put it kindly and say. So I think it'll be a really exciting game. And listen, Rangers should go up there absolutely primed to win that match. It's going to be interesting to see how Tam Courts approaches it, really, because he's made a great story in the fact that Dundee United are going to play more attractive football. He's got a philosophy, bringing through young players and basically a modern philosophy on the game. But will he be able to adapt that for the visit of a team that are so much better than what they have? I mean, Rangers will have to keep an eye on Shankland, obviously, that goes without saying. But I still think they'll win that one comfortably. But I did say that about the Malmo game, didn't I? So I don't want to. I probably should start to avoid jinxing these results.
Yeah, I mean, they're an interesting team, and I watched a lot of them last season. And in our preview on the Rangers Review site this morning, I speak about how much they overperformed statistically. They had the second worst stats for a lot of metrics: shots conceded. Benji Siegrist saved an average of 6.4 goals. So they were very dependent on him, and I think it makes sense to put a manager in place that perhaps can build a little bit of attacking, or is meant to build a little bit of attacking foundations on what was a strong defence last season. But I think if you're in the position of Dundee United in the summer, you don't want to gamble on being able to overshoot your stats once again this season. And I think the introduction of Mulgrew into that backline makes sense, because he should theoretically improve their distribution. And I think as well, you seen against Aberdeen, the one threat, I mean, they didn't really threaten until they were 2-0 down, and then it's a completely different game with Aberdeen happy to sit in. But the one threat that you did see was the runs from midfield, and that's what hurt us a little bit on Tuesday. And Ian Harkes hit the crossbar at Ibrox, I remember last season. It's a really powerful runner from midfield, and will definitely be a threat. And as well as that, I would say Lawrence Shankland I watched quite a lot of Dundee United, covered a fair amount of the last season, and Lawrence Shankland was unbelievably isolated. And he's now playing, again, theoretically with a strike partner. So on the surface, it makes sense, the moves that they've made. But as you say, how that comes into fruition against the best team in the country remains to be seen. So yeah, we're looking forward to that one, and we'll have all the updates for you and reaction on it. And another thing that Jared said this morning, I'll go to you, Derek. Speaking about the next 7 days, which are obviously huge, and he loves quotes like this, and I love it that he loves it. The challenge in the next 7 days is what comes with being part of Rangers, and I think what's great is when you've got a big game tomorrow in the league, a tough away trip, and as Johnny says, somewhere you want to put a marker down in the early kickoff, and then obviously such a monumental game on Tuesday. He just thrives on this, and that will communicate its way straight through the squad, won't it?
Yeah, it certainly will. And like I said earlier, he'll be looking to get back in the winning horse again. Losing football matches, it doesn't come. It's not a common theme with Steven Gerrard and Rangers in the last year or so. So he'll be very keen to get winning again and keep that winning momentum going. Of course, I think we mentioned, is it 40 matches unbeaten or something that they're on domestically in the league? Is that? I'm not too sure if I'm right in that. Is that
20 at home, but it's 36. Close, if not 40. Close, if not 40.
Yeah, so he'll be keen to keep that winning momentum going, especially going into Tuesday night, because it's the biggest match probably since Malmo a decade ago, really, in terms of the Champions League, the money that comes with it, of course, the prestige. So they don't want to be going into that game off the back of another maybe drop points up at Tannadice. And like Johnny says, you should be expected to go up there and beat a side of that calibre. He mentioned Tam Coates. Jury's out on him. It's certainly a bold move by Dundee United to put a guy like that in charge of the football team. So it remains to be seen if it's going to work. But he'll be making it very clear, Steven Gerrard, to his players that Tuesday night wasn't acceptable in large parts, and he'll be looking for a response. And I'd imagine he would get it.
Just on that, what you said there, Joshua, in terms of Rangers going to play on the Saturday. Obviously, Celtic are playing on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And this is another one of these positives that kind of not many people have mentioned with Celtic dropping out of the Champions League. Rangers can go 6 points clear on Saturday after 2 games.
Yeah.
And the amount of pressure that's going to put Ange Postecoglou and Celtic under on Sunday right away is immense. And obviously with them playing in the Europa League, if Rangers can get to the Champions League, that's a situation that's going to continue. So it's going to mean Rangers are going to be chalking up results on a Saturday and saying to Celtic, right lads, over to you.
Yeah.
And we know that is not a situation that many teams can cope with. It's a really difficult one. So I think that could be a factor. I wouldn't like to be those Celtic players going out at Parkhead, and if they don't get a goal in the first 20 minutes, it's going to start to get a bit tense, because everyone's going to be reminding them, if Rangers win, that, well, that's 6 points already. Yeah.
It was like that last season, Johnny, wasn't it? I mean, the COVID issues Celtic fell foul of, and Rangers were able to build up a big gap that we're reminded of. It's okay, they've got games in hand. You'd rather have the points on the board than the games in hand, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, speaking on that, you look ahead and it's the toughest league in terms of away fixtures, and how many years you've got to go away to Tannadice, Tynecastle, Pittodrie, Easter Road, Dens Park. Do you know what I mean? It's not an easy league by any stretch of the imagination. So So yeah, again, positives for Rangers. We got Bob White saying hello to us in the chat there. I'll ask you, Derek, looking ahead to tomorrow, what I mean, we'll do our predicted lineups later. Would you rotate? Would you maybe give the likes of Kent a rest, or do you think it's early in the season and they'll just want to play games?
I wouldn't give Kent a rest, but I think there'll be a number of other players that will drop out. I think Gerrard said as much after that Malmo game. I think we can expect to see John McLaughlin coming back in goals. I think Leon Balogun is probably a cert to start as well. I imagine he comes back into the reckoning. Of course, he's available for Tuesday night. Of course, he was just suspended for that game in Sweden, so it'll be interesting. Although I think he will stick with Hollander for that game. I felt Hollander did well. Kolak in midweek. But yeah, I think he'll come back into the reckoning. And then, like you say, the likes of Kamara and Roof, I'd imagine, would play. I wonder if maybe who will drop out, perhaps John Lundstrom. But then again, you want to get him more minutes in his legs and get used to playing in that style. So it'll be interesting to see what the starting lineup will be. I'd imagine Cedric Eaton may drop out as well. Sakala might be preferred to Eaton, but again, it's a real selection dilemma for Steven Gerrard. He really has a lot of options to choose from, even though he still get some players out. I mean, he still has a great talented pool to pick his team from.
Yeah, we got a comment here asking, when do you think Patterson will get some game time? And that's a good question, because Tavernier, especially the opening day, was excellent, arguably our best player in my eyes. And we've spoken at length about the Tavernier, Patterson, Barkle, how you fit them both in the same team if they will. This might be the type of game where you can keep Tav fresh for Tuesday, Johnny, and just enjoy the rotation, so to speak. I mean, would you start him tomorrow?
It's a difficult one. I would certainly consider it. I wouldn't have any qualms about throwing Nathan Patterson in there against Dundee United. But he is the captain, and he's a guy that is capable of playing 55 games a season. He's a physical machine. We all know that. We've seen that over the years. He's almost never injured. But he's not getting any younger. He's 29 years old. I think he's going to be 30 pretty soon. And maybe Steven Gerrard has to start making those kind of decisions for him and just allowing him to be completely fresh. And maybe, given there was the mistake in the Champions League game, it might not do him any harm just to give him a chance to sort of recuperate and focus on the game on Tuesday, which is of such incredible magnitude. But we all know that Nathan Patterson's not going to let us down. We've got a great piece by Blair Newman on the website today talking about the strengths and weaknesses of the various fullbacks and how tactically Rangers can change a little bit by depending on who's playing. And the one thing that Blair's talking about with Patterson is that he's even better than Tavernier in sort of in attacking situations in terms of going past the man. He's even more like a winger than Tavernier. And perhaps against Dundee United, I would expect him to go into a low block, even though Tam Courts is obviously more expansive than Mickey Mellon was. So yeah, I can see the pros of certainly bringing Patterson in.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll move on and speak about Glenn Kamara. Reports coming out that he might, murmuring, shall we say, that he might be committing his future or signing an extension at Ibrox. And this morning, Steven Gerrard said that his progress has been brilliant. He's become a real established international player. I love the kid and I want him to stay. I mean, that is music to all Rangers supporters' ears, isn't it, Derek? And even if he still has a view of going down to England, which I'm sure he does, it's great to see the club be in a position where they can probably say with a player, look, you give us another 2 years in your contract. When a suitable bid comes in, we'll let you go, but it protects both parties. And it speaks of a good relationship between player and club, in my opinion.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think by all accounts, the player loves playing for Rangers, and Rangers, of course, love the player as well. So it'd be absolutely fantastic if they get him tied down on a new deal. I think everyone was sort of resigned when the Euros were taking place that his performances would attract bids, but nothing has really materialised in that respect, which is good news. It's not to say it won't happen, because there's still some time left of the transfer window, but if Rangers can manage to keep hold of Glenn Kamara this season, it is a huge boost, because we all seen how much they missed him on Tuesday night. Still beggars belief why he's suspended for me. I still rack my brains. It's just that it doesn't sit right with me, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, he's a fantastic player. When he does move, he'll move for mega bucks. There's no question about it. So if Rangers can keep hold of him for as long as possible, then it's absolutely ideal for going forward this season. So yeah, by all accounts, that is great news, and hopefully he signs that deal. It's been mooted quite soon.
I mean, Johnny, you, on Tuesday, you've seen how much we missed him. There's no one really in the team that can, I think, take the ball in such pressurized areas that's so press resistant. And in Europe, especially, if we do get to the Champions League, I think he'll be one of our biggest players in that stage.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, there was a school of thought going round with regards to Rangers' player trading model that there was a couple of players that you could probably take out of the Rangers team without doing too much damage, and one of them was Glenn Kamara. I saw that quite a lot, and I might have even said it myself. And I think that's true to an extent in domestic games. But I think what we saw against Malmo was just how important he is at a European level to the function of the team.
Yeah.
His ability to not only resist the press, as you say, Joshua, but his defensive nous and his functionality in that system where he's covering the fullback. And I think you saw Borna Barisic get a hell of a time against Berget, who we know is not a terrific player, but I thought he had a good game, and Barisic wasn't covered the way he normally would be. I don't think by Arfield. And Kamara, you just felt he was so missed in that game defensively and in terms of his ability to take the ball in tight situations and keep recirculating possession. So yeah, he'll be absolutely massive to get back, and massive to get tied down on the deal. If Rangers can do that, that would be an incredible bit of business. I think that the other element with Kamara is that the transfer market is completely frozen at the moment. You're seeing a situation whereby there's very little big money moves happening outside of England. And even in England, it's only really those super clubs that are making big moves. You know, Manchester United signed Jadon Sancho for 75 million. Manchester City signed Jack Grealish for 100 million. But and obviously there's the whole Harry Kane stuff going on. But outside of that, there hasn't been that much moving. And I think in the transfer market, it's always a case of once one domino falls, the rest start to fall, because one move triggers a host of replacements. So I think the action might heat up towards the end of the transfer window, or it might not, because there's a lot of clubs out there are struggling, huge clubs. I was reading last night in detail about Barcelona's situation. I'd been aware of it, obviously. I think most people had, but just the intricacy of why they can't tie down Messi, it's quite fascinating. And Inter Milan are in a really, really tough boat. They're looking to sell Romelu Lukaku as well, and they've already sold Hakimi, their right wing back, who's I think he's a tremendous player to PSG. So listen, there's a situation going on that we have to be cognizant of. So it makes sense that Rangers would tie players down that are valuable now, because the transfer market will come back, but at the moment it's just not where it would normally be.
Yeah, excellent. And Derek, I'll just give you the final word. Yesterday on the full capacity at Ibrox, which has been confirmed for Tuesday, which is excellent. Stephen Gerrard said this morning that everyone connected with the club has been craving a full house, and that is really something to look forward to so many months on from the last time it happened, isn't it?
Most definitely, yeah. It's going to be absolute joyous. It's what a game for them all to get back in at as well. You're just thinking now that likes of European nights before. I know it's been mentioned that the Parmas and the Leeds and Dinamo Kiev and what have you. I think this is going to be right up there, not just because of the magnitude of the game, but because the fans getting back in after so long, full house. Just imagine what that's going to do to the players as well. Just driving into Ibrox on that evening and coming out the tunnel and feeling that noise reverberate around the ground, it's going to be huge. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, and it'll be great to see Ibrox packed again. Of course, the last time was Bayer Leverkusen, probably about 18 months or so ago now. So it'll be an emotional scene. I'm not going to lie here; it's going to be quite emotional seeing Ibrox packed out again, and let's just hope that the fans can play their part, as Stephen Gerrard has said, and help the team over the line.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up there today. Remember, folks, you can read all our content over at the Rangers Review site. You can subscribe to the Rangers Review for just £1 a month, which is very, very cheap indeed for the first 6 months to support the best Rangers journalism in the country, to give you the coverage of the club that you love, that you deserve. You can keep up to date with us across all our socials, and we'll be back on Monday with another morning brief.